Hey, how's it going?
How's it going? This is Andy.
Yeah, what's going on, Tommy?
What's going on,
Long
Andy?
time listener, bro.
Awesome,
First
awesome.
off, I just want to say thank you for calling, man. Appreciate your content, appreciate you as a person, and appreciate all the information you give all the
Appreciate you,
uninformed
brother.
people out there, man. Yeah, no doubt,
Appreciate you.
bro.
So before we get started, Andy, though, right? I do want you to know this call is being recorded and it's also live. Are you okay with that?
Oh, perfectly fine, man. I'm watching right now, so it's all
All
good.
right. Awesome, awesome. So how can I help?
Yeah, man. Basically, I've been at this job for about maybe 2.5 years now, and
Okay.
I have yet to actually uh, follow through and engage in any offers I've been getting from the job as far as actually I forget the exact name, but as far as uh, investing in the 401k
Okay.
offered from
Okay.
the job, right?
Okay.
Um, I paid off a massive amount of debt
How
from
much?
the past year, right? Man, it was a student loan, probably around I don't know 15,000 or something like that.
Congratulations. That's
Took me a
awesome.
while. Thank you, bro. Yeah,
Congratulations. That's
appreciate
awesome.
that. I paid that off like last year. I'm currently paying off some additional debt, not a whole lot. Luckily, I got a lot of money left over in my savings, so I could, pay that off and then rebuild it back up.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, as soon as I do that though, my whole plan was to try to invest and get into that whole 401k thing that you
Okay.
talk a lot. You talk a lot about, and you said it's a good idea. But me personally, I have like a lot of expenses. Like, well, not a lot to be honest, but I have a few expenses I'm trying to take care of at the moment.
Okay.
And so I'm kind of like just a little hesitant about really diving right into it.
How much
Like,
income do you
what would
make
you assume?
per month net?
Per like, um, you mean just check wise? Like, I mean, after or before taxes?
Net. So how much do you actually get in the paycheck
Oh, okay,
after
okay.
taxes per month?
Man, I don't know, like maybe 2,200 a month.
Okay, so $2,200 a month, and you paid
Yeah,
off $15,000 in debt, right? So that's
yeah.
awesome. So that's crazy that you actually did that in 1 year. So okay,
Now I didn't do
so
it in a year, bro. That took a while, man, because I've mainly worked in call centers and a couple of um different businesses over the past couple of years, and it just took a long time to pay off.
okay, that's
But
fine.
I was in a pretty good situation last year, and I took care of it, thank God. Um, but yeah, I'm sorry. Continue.
Now the main thing is right, Andy, you're making the switch from defense to offense, and that switch
Right.
sometimes is hard. So right now, right, the only debt you have with the student loan debt. So right now you have no other debt whatsoever: credit card debt, car notes, personal loan.
No, I mean I have a credit card, but I just mainly use that to boost my credit.
Okay,
But it's
so
it's very minimal. I pay everything before.
all right, so let me tell you exactly the best way to use a credit card to build credit but never go into debt, right? You want to use the one bill method, meaning you put Netflix, iTunes, Apple Music on it, whatever it is, and put the credit card on auto pay, and then just cut the credit card. That way, you have a payment being registered every single month. The balance stays low, so you build credit over time, but you don't go into debt because you're never actually using it for anything else. So if I were you, if I woke up today, Andy, and I were you, I had this job for the past 2.5 years. I paid off a bunch of student loan debt. I make $2,200 a month, and now I want to get into the transition into. By the way, how much cash do you have?
You mean as far as like savings?
Yeah, cash right now.
Um, I don't know, man. Almost close to 20k right now in savings.
You have $20,000 in savings.
Yeah,
How is that? So this whole time when you were paying the student loan debt off, you were still saving money.
yeah. Like I said, it took a while. I
That's
took
why
out
it
the
took
debt
a while.
initially. Yeah, I
Yeah.
initially had went to school in 2010 for a program. I finished it. Went in for another program and finished that one. So, how it is. You're slowly paying off debt, then you add on more debt to it.
Yeah.
Um, so it took a while, man. It took a long time
Yeah.
to pay off, but I finally did it.
All
And
right. So Andy, so this won't be you again, but if you have a friend, for example, and they ask you the same question, that were in your shoes, you tell them, hey, pay off the debt first, and then you focus on saving later, because that was causing you a bunch of interest, right? So the overall
Right.
thing is, if I woke up today and I had $20,000 in savings, what would I do? And I'm basically fully debt free, and I have a nice job. The first thing is I am going to get a budget to have control over my expenses. Now the thing is, you tell me, Tommy, I have expenses to take care of. Most likely, you're a pretty frugal guy. I can tell by your results here. You have a lot of savings. You paid off debt, so you're probably very, very frugal. But you want to have a budget that's on paper so that we can keep track of everything. The main four expenses are shelter, utilities, groceries, transportation. Everything else is going to be a want. Everything else you want to cut out. So with all of my extra money, so I have $20,000 here, I'm going to save 6 months worth of emergencies in this case. 6 months worth, or 3 months, however you want it. I have that 6 months in a separate account, so that way I'm not tempted to actually use it. So that way I'm good, I'm solid. If I lose my job or anything crazy happens, okay, bang. Now I'm going to start investing between 10 to 20% of my monthly income. You get paid bi-weekly or monthly?
It's biweekly.
Okay. So when I say you invest in 10, 20%, I don't mean at the end of the month. I mean every time you get paid. I don't want you to tickle the money, have it in your pocket, maybe spend some. No, every time you get paid, automatically have that money being invested. That way you don't have to think about it so much. So this means if my company has a 401k, I want to find out, do they also have, for example, a match for my 401k? Meaning that's free money. Meaning if I invest X, they will invest X on my behalf and basically give me that free money. Why? Because that way they also save money on taxes. So it helps them, but it also helps me. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Now, the reason you might be, for example, so concerned about investing is maybe because you just don't know that much about investing. So if you invest the way I invest, you're basically investing into the whole US economy, the international economy, the real estate economy, the small market economy, the corporate treasury bonds, basically investing in the whole economic system. So the idea is that the only way that you basically lose everything is if we have, for example, World War III and America ends or something crazy, crazy happens. The likelihood of it happening is very low. And by that point, if that does happen, the dollar will crash. And guess what? Your savings or your money don't matter. So it's just better to have your money being invested. So you have, for example, you're getting the max match with your company's 401k. So if they tell you, hey, you got to invest 5% to get the max, you say, okay, automatically take that money from my check. So that's taken care of. But if you're going to be investing, for example, a total of 20%, grab the other 15%, or if you do 10%, the other 5% or 10%. You grab that money and you put it, for example, into your Roth IRA. If you want to copy my exact portfolio, there's an M1 Finance link. The main idea behind a 401k and a Roth IRA, traditional IRA, and Roth 401k are this. The traditional IRA, the 401k are pre-tax accounts, meaning whatever you invest, you get to deduct from your taxes, which basically saves you money on taxes. The post-tax accounts are basically saying you invest your after-tax income, which means you get no tax benefit today, but when you take that money out tomorrow in the future, it grows fully tax-free, but you don't owe any tax on it whatsoever because you never took a tax incentive from it, basically. So if the company offers a Roth 401k, I would do that because, listen here, Andy, if you have $1 million in a 401k or $1 million in a Roth 401k, it's very different because in the 401k, you have, for example, mandatory distributions when you turn like I think 57 or like I think maybe 70. So you have to take money out mandatorily. But more importantly, they'll tax you on that money. So $1 million in a 401k or traditional IRA is more like 700 to 800k. But $1 million in a Roth IRA or Roth 401k is $1 million. It is fully yours because you don't get taxed on it whatsoever because you never took a tax benefit initially. So this is very important. So you're investing 10, 20%. How old are you, by the way, Andy?
I'm actually 34 right now.
Okay, so you're 30. Congratulations. So you're pretty young. So you're
Yeah.
34 years old. So now if I'm investing 10, 20% into my retirement accounts, then with the rest of my money, and you should have extra money, I'm going to grab that extra money and start saving it up towards a home, a down payment, right? From a home that I actually want to buy. Now, this means when I buy this home, what are the rules, Tommy? Because I don't just want to buy any home and then just go into crazy debt. The rules are the property I buy cannot cost me more than 33% of my monthly income on a 15-year mortgage. That means the mortgage Maintenance, taxes, PMI insurance, HOA fee, all this stuff cannot exceed a third basically of my income per month on a 15-year mortgage. Now, this means, for example, you're going to pay this off as fast as possible because you'll have that mortgage there. So part of your expenses, of course, but now you should also have, for example, extra income while you're done investing at the same time. So meaning that extra income, you put it towards the home, you're finished with it a lot faster. Usually, if you're putting aside like 10-20%, if you do the math correctly, you should be done in 8 to 10 years potentially. So now you're 34. Let's just say, for example, by 44 to 47 years old, you have a paid for home, a fully funded emergency account, a good chunk of money in your investment accounts, and on top of that, you have the same amount of income usually, maybe even more income coming in. But guess what? Over a third of your income doesn't go to shelter anymore because your home is paid off. Meaning you can use that third of your income to buy the fancy car you want that you've been procrastinating on, to go on vacation whenever you want, to do whatever you basically want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it definitely does. Actually, that's kind of been an issue of mine. I have enough money to actually buy a car I want right now.
Don't do
But
it because because you're
yeah,
because you're because what you have is money. You're not rich, right? Because
right,
the wealth in a man is not measured by the amount of money he has, but by the amount of income he's able to actually acquire in passive income. Because if you spend this $20,000 on a car or whatever you want, you will not get this money back. It does not come back. It depreciates with this heckin' car. What I want you to
right,
do is work. You have a car now, right?
yeah,
I have a car too. It's 7 years old. You ride it until the wheels come off, until you're done with this plan. By 44, you're fully done. If you want to make it even faster, you get another job or increase your skills, and that way you're done even faster. But by that point, my point is you're 44 years old. The average person retires, for example, at age 65 with no money. You'll be fully done by that point. You're investing that 10% into your investment account. You have a paid for home. You have a bunch of extra money. If you want to buy a new car, I don't care about depreciation by that point because basically you can afford to have that money burn and go into flames. By that point, it makes sense. Does that make sense?
yeah, it definitely does. Like I said, that's kind of been where my head's been right now. Like I said, I really want to get this new car because the car I have right now, off and on, would have issues. But I was like, I think I would
What
definitely want
car
to
do you
invest in a
drive?
house first. Right now, I have a shit. It's a well, I have one car I'm using at the moment. It's a Kia. The other one I had was a old Honda from like I don't know 2004.
How long did the Honda last you?
Shit. Sorry about that. Maybe around like 9 years.
Awesome. So look, if your car, I'm not a big fan of Kias. They're fine, although my dream car is a Kia Stinger. But I like Hondas, Toyotas, and Mazdas. They have great reliability records. Not according to me, but according to statistics. So if you want to buy, for example, a nicer car, I bought a Toyota Prius 2014, backup camera. It's a nice car, saves money on fuel. It cost me $9,000 here in Puerto Rico, but it can cost you over there in the U.S. around maybe like $6,000 to $5,000. So if you want to grab out of that $20,000 and buy a $5,000 car that's more reliable, doesn't give you problems, right? That's fine. But again, your priority is gonna be, for example, on building this wealth. But I don't mind if you spend that $5,000 to get a reliable car. But that's once you have the emergency account and once you start basically investing that 10-20%. And you can do that all today. And then tomorrow you sell the Kia and you buy a good, reliable car. Now, you said your income is $2,200, right?
Yeah, that's what I get after taxes for the month.
Okay. So that means don't spend more than if I were you again, this is my rule. I wouldn't spend more than $10,000 on this car. And that's a very nice car. If
Mhm.
your budget is $10,000, that's a very nice car. If you're like me, and you're kind of very crazy, then don't spend more than $5,000 on a car, and you get a decent car that keeps you running. And remember, right, a car is machinery. Machinery wears out. Machinery is usually more expensive to replace than it is to maintain. So make sure you're maintaining these cars correctly. Invest in maintenance because it'll be cheaper than buying something again. Make sense?
Yeah, definitely, man. I've been looking into possibly getting in a used car, just to kind of save up some money for now. But I'm trying to make sure I don't get a clunker. You know what I'm saying?
You don't get a what?
But I said I'm trying to make sure I don't get a clunker. You know what I'm saying? You don't get a car that's working now, and 2 months later, you know what I'm saying, you're
Are you a
stuck with
mechanic?
it. No, I'm not, but my cousin is. So
Okay, so what you do is you, your cousin, and a verified mechanic also. Before I bought my car, am I a mechanic? No. But I took my car to the mechanic and I did a whole body check. Hey, how's the transmission? How's the oil? How's the engine? How's everything in this car? After 3 hours, it told me everything. They were like, hey, Tommy, everything is fine. You just got to do the wheels, the brakes, everything's fine, though. I bought the car then. But you get the car checked out. It's machinery. You can check it out by a professional. Make sure it is solid. That's the idea. You don't just buy and hope in this whole car industry thing. No, you get it fully checked out. That's what you do. So have confidence in what you're doing. If you do things correctly, there's no need not to be confident, right? You check the car first, do the research. What's the most reliable car? Most likely Toyota Corolla, Camry, Avalon, maybe Mazda. You buy a good, decent car. Honda, if you want like an SUV, yeah, buy a nice car. Do the research, okay? And then you take it to a mechanic. Hey, here's this car. Is it good? If they say no, don't buy it. Buy a good car and be patient. That's all it is. But they'll check it out for you. Don't overthink it. Once you have the answers and you check things out correctly, you're good. Make sense?
definitely, bro. Thank you. You cleared up a lot of stuff for me today.
All right, brother. Glad I could help, man. And welcome to the long-term team, man. I appreciate you a ton. And thank you for joining the live, man. You can come on. You're welcome every single time, all right? Any more questions?
Hey, no, that's it for now. I made my mind paying off that debt right now, and I'm just start engaging and saving money until I can go back into getting into that 401k next year. Thank you again, bro.
You get into that 401k this year, bro. Stop procrastinating. Stop the BS. Okay?
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that right now. Like, my job, it kind of offers it to you, like,
well, do the Roth. Do the Roth.
I have to look more into that and see which one that they're offering right now. But
no, the Roth is you. The Roth is you individually. The Roth is individual. IRAs are individual retirement accounts. The 401k are the job things. But the Roth are individuals. Just look up Tommy Bryson Roth, Tommy Bryson Invest. You'll find it. Do the research. Like you're about to do research on a car that's a liability. Invest in yourself. You're 34 years old now. In 10 years from now, you could have $100,000 invested, or you could have nothing. So decide. All right.
Hey, we'll do, bro. Thank you again, man.
All right, peace out. All right, guys. So that right there was Andy. Shout out to Andy, guys. Guys. I just want to say thank you for joining the live.